Dear Excellencies, distinguished guests, and young leaders that are present in this forum today. My name is Alysha Alva, and I'm the Global Head of PR here at ISIC, a global youth-led not-for-profit organization specializing in leadership development. It is truly an honor to have the opportunity to speak with you all today. I want to start off this address by actually sharing a memory from my childhood. Growing up, my dad would always tell me bedtime stories about his childhood and life in India. Through the stories, it was clear that my dad did not have an easy life. He grew up in severe poverty alongside his 12 brothers and sisters in the province of Karnataka, India. Due to my exposure of his life experiences, from a young age, I was hyper aware of social injustices, inequality, and food insecurity in the world, because I was able to see firsthand what they looked like in my dad's everyday life growing up. One story that always comes to my mind is about my dad's routine as a young child when it came to helping the family put food on the table. My dad's family lived on a rice field, and it was abundant in natural resources, crops, and livestock. As one of the younger members of the family, my dad's role was actually to harvest coconuts from the trees, as well as go to the nearby river to catch fish with his brothers. Every day before going to school, my dad would climb the coconut trees, harvest the coconuts, and then walk behind the house over the mountain to the river that was beautiful. It was ribbon-like, flowing and splashing along the rocks, abundant with life and schools of fish. Fishing was fun and easy and simple, and it would take so little time that it always gave the brothers enough time to play in the river and drink the water after fishing, and then head to school. At the age of 10, signs of development started to appear within the small village. Roads were being developed, cars were starting to enter and leave more abundantly, and government organizations were starting to introduce the use of chemical fertilizers to farmers. Day by day, my dad started to notice slight changes. While the initial yield of crops like coconuts and rice started to increase, my dad and his brothers started to have a hard time fishing. Year after year, the fish started to disappear from the river, and the village kids could no longer drink or play in the water. In the span of 5 years, the development in the area led to the contamination of natural water sources and a severe decline in air quality. As I grew older and started to think more about this story, I realized that it allowed me to have a first account of how fast the neglect of the environment can lead to the degradation of land and water, and ultimately impact the communities all around us. As a 24-year-old that is part of the incoming Generation Z, it is a known fact to me that we are the youth generation and the last generation that has the ability to save the planet. The future that is currently being created is the future that we will be living. This forces us to think differently than past generations, and this is why the youth generation is such a driving force in the world today. Youth have shown us time and time again that they can and they will. We have the ability to make massive impact. We are agents of change, entrepreneurs, and innovators, but we cannot do this alone. We need the help of organizations, governments, and the private sector to help us gain experience, skills, uplift our voices, and give us a seat at the table. Uplifting youth voices and developing them into the leaders of today and tomorrow is actually something that ISIC is heavily focused on. As one of the world's largest youth-led nonprofit organizations, with over 100 chapters all over the world, 30,000 members, and over 1 million alumni, we strive to develop value-driven leaders that can make a real impact in the world around them. We do this through experiential leadership development we offer through our exchange and membership programs, and by connecting youth with youth thought leadership opportunities through partnerships. Since the creation of the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals, we at ISIC have mobilized over 200,000 young people towards the Sustainable Development Goals in various global volunteer projects and other impact initiatives aiming towards specific targets of the SDGs. Currently, we have 3 global projects running centered around SDG 13, 14, and 15. Project Green Leaders, Project Aquatica, and Project Rooted. These are all projects that are running across the world globally, especially in countries in Latin America, Africa, and Asia. Talking about partnerships, We believe that they play an absolute integral role in allowing us to achieve the impact we envision. We leverage our partnerships to give our members and youth demographic opportunities to join and participate in forums such as this, the EcoSoc Youth Forum, and even events across UNGA Week. Here at ISIC, we also have recently partnered with EY, Ernst & Young, to host 50 ideation climate clinics around the world to create solutions for climate change. Given the focus on COP15 this month, we are actually hosting 2 of them this week in Montreal itself, and I honestly believe this is such an incredible example at how different sectors can join forces and amplify more initiatives by young people. As I bring this address to an end, I want to leave you all with some calls to action. If you are currently part of the youth generation listening, I encourage you to get involved with NGOs and platforms like ISIC and others present here today to develop your leadership and seek opportunities to have your voice heard. For the stakeholders and decision makers in this room, invest in young people. We want your support. We don't want to just be heard. We want a seat at your table. The path ahead to making meaningful change and an impact in the world today is not easy and can often seem scary and eluding. But having courage does not mean doing what is easy. It means taking the hard path and doing it scared. History has shown us what one great leader can do, so imagine what a billion great leaders could do. This is why at ISIC, we do what we do for youth. My dad's story might be a story in the past, but we now have the choice of rewriting the future. The question that remains now is, what is the story we will be telling future generations to come? Thank you.